discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Here is Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all my brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Hot Fire Radio, and you're listening to the Pan African Bliss Show with your host, none other than Joby. Andrew Robinson, enough respect, love, respect, and justice for all.
This wonderful Thursday afternoon. From my end, 48 minutes past the top of the hour, and of course, grand rising to everyone who's listening on Rumble, BitChute, on YouTube, on the radio station, to those who shall be catching this on Spotify, whatever the time you shall be catching this live or recorded. I hope you get to enjoy. Karibuni sana once again. My name is Joby. To the first time listeners, I'd love to urge you to subscribe. Also, ensure you download our app, very easy for you to find on the Google Play Store. Black Hot Fire Network is the name. And of course, remember, once you have the application, you can tune in on to all the shows, talking from morning till literally evening, and also literally all the shows throughout the week and the weekend as well. And of course, today we shall be talking about the Rothschild, and of course, who is the Rothschilds, why the Rothschilds is the father to Israel, and of course, literally, not the father just to Israel, but the father to wars. These are deep conversations, so I hope you're ready for the conversation. Tighten your belts, and of course, diving into the conversation on the comment section as we get deeper to understand who are the Rothschilds. We'll be talking about the Rothschilds, but people are so scared to mention literally who they are. We know that they're the people behind Israel. We're talking about the father of Israel, and not just the father to Israel, but the father to all the world. So, Karibuni sana, but that's not just what we shall be diving into. As we look at this as a collective, we want to go back into history of the current events. We're talking about literally funded wars. We have the UN, which did give us a report list of companies that actually complicit in Israel's genocide. And we're looking at literally companies like Amazon. We're talking about countries like IBM. We're talking about countries like France. We're talking about Barclays. We also have banks, also, of course, very much included, and so much which I'll literally be mentioning on today's conversation. But as we move on as well, we shall be talking about how many times so far Nigeria has been able to attain coups. And this actually was so very much active in 1966 to 1993, where Nigeria had the most military coups than any other African countries during this particular period. And as we dive into that, we're looking at the Rothschild still. And of course, last but not least, shall be talking about what is happening in Kenya. Bruto has been cancelled to attend a certain lecture event. He was supposed to go in the UK. He has been cancelled, and along that, he's been dictated by Macron. This took literally event just a day ago, and I'm not sure where specifically. I bet it is in the UK. Not sure. This is in Spain. Sorry, this is in Spain because he's supposed to go to the UK, but he has been cancelled. But in Spain, he has met or did meet with Macron, and of course, they had a certain heated conversation, but he's giving us nothing but just lies. I want us to get deep into it because he's literally using defense mechanism of terms like domestic resources, how they've been able to value our countries. And he's talking about how these resources actually are generating internally and funding our own development. But that is not the truth. Yesterday, we were discussing about the IMF, the World Bank, and how so many African countries are so literally in debt and they're stuck in this literally scam. And we're not going to be able to walk out of it very soon so long as we have this kind of puppets who are not using our resources very correctly because they're using the foreign aid. Talk about the domestic resource. It's not what they're talking about. They use foreign aid and they use loans to ensure that we're funded and we're stuck in this particular structure. So that is what we shall be discussing today. And I hope you are ready for the conversation. But before we get to move on, like I said, download our app on the Google Play Store. Get yourself some amazing organic supplements. Like we have the ashwagandha, we have multivitamin beetroot, we have CMOS, we have turmeric gummy bears, we have some amazing coffees, Manuka honey coffee. Talking about also beauty supplements, get yourself some. And of course, for now, I'll be sharing brain and focus formula because today's conversation needs your brains
Unlock
right
your
here.
full
So,
potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
yes, and also ensure you get yourself some amazing merchandise. We have hoodies, we have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have shot glasses, we have everything with our logo. And in case you want something printed with your logo, just Fika Bay. We say in Swahili Fika Bay. Just get to the right price. But anyway, karibuni sana once again to everyone on Rumble, YouTube, on BitChute, and the radio station, Spotify, and Spreaker to those who get to listen to this on form of a podcast. Hope you guys get to enjoy the conversations as well. But before we get into the main discussions of the day, I have, of course, today's fact. Actually, not even a fact, but history. I think lately for the last for the last 1 month, I've been giving you guys history that none of you have been tapping into, which I'm so proud of myself and my research, by the way. It means I'm doing something, with my life. I'm doing something to understand our history and literally why we are where we are and the discussions I have, because so many things or discussions, being honest, do leave also questions on my head. But when you tap into some untapped history that we don't have any idea into, sometimes it gives you answers that you've been seeking, if I'm making literally any sense. But for the last, I think, 1 month, I've been sharing so many articles and details that I can find regarding the hidden history about us as Black people, especially about the children. We've seen how Black women used to be enslaved, raped, and then their children are going to be taken to be sold for white people's beneficial of education. We've seen also how they were sold also to just benefit the white community. We've also seen literally also how Black children were used for scientific racist research to be specific. And of course, today we're talking about how they stole bodies of Black children for studying to prove that Blacks were inferior. I think a couple weeks ago, I did talk about something similar about that. Just let me look for it and then we refer into it. But on today's article, it says for over Let me just enlarge my screen for us to be able to be on the same page because, all right. So it says for over a century, institutes like Harvard and Smithsonian quietly held remains of enslaved Black people. We're talking about bones, skulls, and even children's bodies. Okay? Taken without consent and used to support racist pseudoscience. At Harvard's Peabody Museum, skulls were enslaved Africans, and including a man named Renty and a teenager girl named Delia, were collected by Professor Louis Agassiz. I'm literally trying to read through, so pardon if I'm really kind of slow with it. But they're also saying to prove that Black inferiority and these individuals was stripped of dignity in life and death, reduced the specimens in bones and drawers while their descendants remained unaware. Though Harvard had since acknowledged that this collection calls for reparations grow louder, thousands of Black remains are trapped in museums and universities. We know even this today. I think a couple of weeks ago, I did read about where we had 150 skulls of 150 skulls of enslaved Africans, which were also being used for racist scientific research. So literally, you can see it's the same similar kind of thing. But this one is different because they were using bones, skulls, and even the children's bodies. Not so different, but the level of evilness, it's what we were sharing. The video we were sharing yesterday on yesterday's show, what that guy said. The level of evilness of white people, you're gonna have goosebumps on your body. Literally every time you just have you have to have goosebumps on your body because the level of evilness is just, no, you can't think about it. You can't go, you can't, but they do. You can't, but they do. That's the crazy thing. They did. They still do it. That's the crazy part as well. But they continue and say how this symbolizes a deeper legacy of exploitation, dehumanization, and stolen ancestry. I mean, that is what they keep on doing. And of course, we know that you're not going to find this article in none of your books that they teach you in schools, claiming that Harvard or these universities out there are the best now today, apart from what we had back then when Egypt was the greatest of the great. You don't find this kind of history anywhere today, which is so crazy. Bakaribu sana kid.
Happy Sana, Joby. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I think YouTube might be shadow banning me because of my topic. I don't know. I don't understand why we don't have anyone here yet. This is just it, right?
Are you on the regular channel or are you on the backup channel?
I'm on a backup channel because
How long have you been here?
13 minutes so far.
Dang, I missed 3 minutes. Yeah, probably so because our show got blocked yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah, it got blocked because with the topic we're talking about Black women being missing and what was that other guy that guy with the strange head? What was he talking about?
Yeah, the children and the literally
Yeah,
how politicians are
yeah,
so involved
yeah,
in.
exactly. So that's why. Yeah, so yeah, of course we're being shadow banned, blocked because the over the target as we are. We're going to be shut down. It's too much real information. Too much. It's too much truth.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But yes, I was just sharing an article here. I was saying for the last, I think, 1 month, I've been sharing articles regarding some hidden histories, which I could find. I've been sharing with you guys. We've seen so much, especially when it comes to Black children and Black women, how they've been used for scientific racist research. We've been seeing how
Well,
Black women were put into pain because white people somehow believed that Black people were not feeling pain. I mean, this
thing.
is just, that is psychopathy. I mean, also they used Black women, they put them in prison and they raped these women because in their article they don't say rape. They say that they became pregnant. How?
They
Magical?
raped. They
For
raped
Mary? They say they became pregnant and these children were sold literally to ensure that the white education system was better. So they were slaves, being sold as slaves, so that the white children or the black community can have a better system of education. We've also seen how black children are being used for scientific research of like AIDS. That is from the 1990s to early
Yeah,
2000s.
I told you about AIDS. Yeah, that's how they. I think AIDS. I think, Africa is a conservative continent. You're conservative. So how could AIDS be all over Africa when you're conservative sexually? Africans are conservative, Joey. They're conservative. Why people get mad about your dressing code? No, they're conservative. So there's no way AIDS ran throughout Africa like as it is now, unless somebody put it in there as a guinea pig to wipe us out. That's why, and that's what happened. Also, I think in the Black American community, that's where the biggest AIDS is found at. And we're Africans, we're conservative. So how's it now? Atlanta, Miami, all the black areas now got Memphis now got the biggest amount of AIDS because they put it in us.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was just reading this article. I was just reading this article where they're talking about they stole bodies of black children for studying, of course, to prove that the black children were inferior. We're talking about how they used bones, skulls, and even children's bodies, and they were taken without consent, used for racist
Of course.
pseudoscience, pseudoscience, sorry, pseudoscience. Uh,
Pseudoscience means they're racist. All the science is really pseudo. Even the stuff they do now with the vaccine, all this stuff is pseudo. 'Cause all this science is based on their race
true,
psychopathy.
true.
All the race is fake. All the
That is
science is fake. It's based
mhm,
on their fake races, their racialism, which they got mad because when they did real science, proves that they are the inferior and black
mhm.
people are the superior. That blows their mind. Good.
That's why it is so important right now. If anyone can literally rewrite histories, because especially in today's system, they're even targeting the writers. You can't just write a book, passing
No,
information to the other generation. We've been seeing literally this happening to our even writers today who are targeting the current regimes like Ruto. So many of them have been arrested. You see them, they're disappearing, they're quiet. All of a sudden, they don't want to publish the books. You're like, you're supposed to be the voice of the people. What happened to you? Why did you keep quiet? Journalists being out. We have journalists who are doing
people,
investigation and try
people are
to find.
scared, yo. People are scared for their life until you get enough people on the ground. They're gonna fight. You're alone. So people are scared till you get organized on
How
the
long will you
ground, and
be
then
scared? For how long will you be? For how long will we be scared?
sound like even Teray.
How
You
long
said it's
will we be
like even Teray said, well, Africans that gotta stop being. That's one thing I love about that young man. He said Africans that gotta stop being cowards. So
scared?
that's what he says.
For how
I
long
don't
will you
know.
be scared? That's something we need to start asking. Like, for how long do you want to keep on living in fear of, these people with the suits at the, what about you? Are you supposed to live a really fucked up life for the rest of your life? On and
Uh,
on and on and on. Your generation lived a fucked up life. That's what we were talking about yesterday. Your generation
yeah,
lived a fucked up life. You want to live a fucked
yeah.
up life. And then you want your children to live a fuck. Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you if you're not desperate for change.
I
Something
was
is
it. That's
you.
true. I keep telling you, they just don't know as much as you. And African people being kind,
I,
they can stay in this kind of pop.
I was saying yesterday, it's so sad. The level of comfortability of
Yeah,
poverty that Africans have
exactly.
in, it's so crazy. And I'm talking about the level of comfortability of poverty is where most of the Africans, it's comfortable for them just having a house. Okay, so long as I have a house, I have a job that gives me, let me just say, even $100, okay, a month, or let me say a month, not even a month. That is enough for me. And then I get a small crib. I can pay water bill so I can get water in my house every month. Maybe if I'm fetching from outside or whatever the system is set up. Regards, it depends with where I'm living. Choice of environment also is very
Of
important here with $100. You can live in Kibera with $100 and you're living like a
course.
good ass person. You can be living in Rongai and you're really poor with $100, you know, and somewhere else as well. So it's crazy the level of comfortability that
That
people
that's what I told you. Exactly. It's great.
they can eat.
How could you be comfortable, Joby?
That's it.
How can you be comfortable, Joby, living in a Canada?
No, I
There's
can't.
no way.
I
There's
can't.
no way,
I
Joby.
can't.
I can live in that shit.
I'm not gonna lie, you know, sometimes you don't want to be greedy in life, and of course, sometimes as you yearn for good. I don't know if you saw the TikTok video I sent you. You know, I've been just seeing
Nah,
some amazing.
which one you sent? Which one you sent me a new one?
Yeah, you look at it at your own time. So I was just looking at
Uh,
it, and I'm like, just to give you a hint, I'm like, man, I want to move out of my house already. I'm like, I want a bigger house. You know, I want a bigger two-bedroom than what I have. Like, because I feel like I deserve a bigger two-bedroom than what I have. You know, it sounds crazy, but it is so not okay for us to for Africans to settle for just the little space we have. I don't know if it
Hey,
really
Jerry,
or you
I
should
do agree. I do agree. You talking about your dreams. Your dreams have been kept low because you believe Africans believe, and also with their religion, they believe they're supposed to be poor, Joby, and they'll get this in this big heaven.
I don't know. It's really, really crazy, and we need to really change our mentality as African people. This is why we see we've been taken
Of course.
advantage mentally, economically, because I want to share this video very quickly of
But
Ruto. How is being literally this, it comes when I say it comes from our leaders. It's not like we're disrespected. I don't know if it really this made sense. Africans were not disrespected. It is our leaders that make us be disrespected. Okay,
okay,
look at
I, I meant
listen.
I know. I meant to share. Wait. I got you're going, Joby. I'm gonna share two videos with you. I want you to play them after you play this. And this
Okay,
so this is gonna explain exactly what you're saying. Exactly.
all right. Africans were not disrespected. Understand, we are the majority, okay? And they fear our masses, they fear our unity. That is
Of
the
course
key
it is.
agenda that has been hidden. That is the weapon when it comes to us, if we use it, that has been hidden. They have been using their weapon against us, which is to divide and conquer, and which has been working. But understand, it is not you. You're not being disrespected. It is your leader who comes in as a weak representative of you, the majority. Okay, the agendas, how they present what they want for your country, how they talk about the needs for your country, literally just the whole strategy for the next 5 years. What do you want to do? Oh, I'm gonna be a puppet. That's okay for me. Okay, you can give me loans, you know, that's okay. And of course, I'm gonna use terms like that's what Ruto is gonna do right here. Okay, I'm gonna use terms like domestic resources, you know, use intelligent terms so that people can believe that you're actually putting work into action, which is not. These people are not using any domain. No country in no African continent apart from Burkina Faso currently is the only continent group. Let me say the Alliance Sahel state is the only uh, countries that are using their domestic resources, or I'd say their resources, to develop their country. The rest of the countries are using what we were discussing yesterday. They are kept in a debt trap. They're
Yep.
using foreign aid and loans to develop themselves. So I'm about to share. Listen to how this is and listen to how Macron is also talking to him. Okay, it shows you the disrespect they have for African leaders, and of course, his
Of course.
response of defense is very weak because your job is here to deliver what the puppets want. Remember, the head, the head is watching you. All right. Remember, the Hague is watching you. You have a pending case. Kenyans might have forgotten, but we have not forgotten. You have a all right. So listen very
This
carefully.
is the exact opposite of what I do believe in. Because I think it's feasible to make hand in hand together a common agenda.
This month's English sucks. Oh my God. I've bared with my life to try to listen
But
to
you know what? You know why, Joe? Because he's French. He's not supposed to be great. He's French. He's
this man.
he's the president of France, Joby. He's
So
French, so it's he's French. How good is your French? He's French.
But as long as you will have people in Europe and North America saying, these people in the South are my main problem, I don't want them, they are just migrants. or people from the south saying, in the north, you have my main problem. This is cynicism, wealthy people, and a post-colonial approach. We have no chance to deliver a global agenda. And I don't see 1 second, based on your narrative and your
Listen, I don't know if you caught what this man said. Let me repeat it.
cynicism, wealthy people, and a post-colonial approach, we have no chance to deliver a global agenda. And I don't see 1 second, based on your narrative and your paradigm, how we can deliver a common agenda.
Listen, he said we can never deliver a common agenda. I just want you to understand what that term means, okay? We can never deliver a common agenda. He's addressing Ruto, not any. And addressing Ruto is addressing the all African nations. Like I say, leave alone this borders bullshit we've been given. Africans, it's time to understand politics on a deeper level. You need to be smart. I don't know how, but you need to wake up. You need to understand the white man's term and how they apply and play on you.
Yeah.
We have no common agenda. We will never deliver any common agenda. He's talking to Ruto. And then leave alone Ruto, because of course right now France is trying to look for a friendship interest. Or
yes, they're trying to, since they lose Burkina Faso, not a person, they want to take over Kenya and the other English-speaking countries now, African countries, since they're losing the French ones that they've controlled. The French ones are now trying to break free of their wicked ass, and now they're trying to go into England's area and steal the Africans from the English.
You know what is so crazy is you coming to me, kid, telling me, you want us to have a common agenda. That is what that was your first approach. You come, we collaborate, because I'm certain the same terms were used. They use the same terms even now when it comes to even defending themselves. You need to understand these things correctly, man. I don't know. This is so crazy. But anyway, these people have an interest in Kenya, but he's talking to on his face. Listen. You come to me, you tell me, I think we can work this way, because the other assholes kicked us out. They're not doing okay. For us, we can collaborate. Come on,
exactly. There you go.
Yeah. You the British and I, me and the British system, we're gonna talk, and of course they're gonna talk and they're gonna have an agreement because they have common agendas which they don't have on you. Okay? They have common agendas which they don't have on you. It's okay for France and England or whatever General Mosquito's city is for them to conversate and
the country your mosquito is in England, Joby. He just lives in the capital. He lives in London. So yeah, London.
So that you're talking to me this crazy on my face, because man, the Ruto looks crazy right here. Ruto looks crazy that Macron is talking to him crazy right here.
Because he doesn't respect Ruto as a human being. He's black. I'm white. I'm France. You're Kenyan, nigga. You do what I tell you to do. That's the level of behavior he has, Joe. I'm France. You're Kenya. You shut your mouth and you do what I tell you to do. That's the level they tell you.
I was a critical thinker, number one, as a leader, not just a leader. I'm a critical thinker, looking at things from a deeper level, and even if included, yes, on emotional level, because these people play with our emotions. Let me tell you, white people are very good, intelligent, emotion players, and this is why they use the media to tell us, we're coming in with aid. Africa is so poor. They need clothes. They need second-hand clothes. They need GMOs, not just original food. They need GMOs. That's the only way we can help them. Emotional play. Okay, if you're a critical thinker,
because you know why? Because they know that Africans, Joby, are considered emotional people. Europeans are not considered emotional. That's why they're so psychopathic.
Why should I continue with your proposal or even listen to your? Actually, I should stand up and walk away from this meeting. You're talking me crazy to me like this. Telling me
now you're talking about being an actual leader, Joby. They're not leader puppets. So now you're talking about exactly. You should do that if you were a leader and had power. You would do that.
This is so crazy. So yes, Africans understand. France is telling you, just like Ibrahim Traore and the Alliance Sahel state as a whole has understood. They never had a common agenda when it came to you. It's all about them. Their agenda only favors them, not you.
There is no chance to do so.
There is no chance to do so. Exactly. Oh my.
The unique chance to do so is to work together
The only chance to do so is to work together. And if you're a bootlicker,
with respect, refusing the
with respect, they never apply respect to you. Listen.
Never.
oversimplification
Never.
of the different parts of the
Never.
world, because guess what? In South America, you have wonderful leaders, wonderful society, and the same in the North. And you have politicians who want to build precisely a new growth model and cooperation between North and South.
Cooperation, that is the term.
And being in charge during the past 8 years, I
Remember,
spent my
pause it,
life.
Joey, pause it for a second. Remember the other white guy told you, we worry about their words, everything they tell you is a lie. The white guy we always play, the little Arab white guy. Everything they tell you, Joey, is a lie. All the words are lies.
I think I don't know, man. I think just my research is just literally just improving. I've been very keen
Of
with
course it
everything
is.
to literally. I have to take keen. I underline words in between sentences nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like taking what is common agenda. That is what that is the whole. This is the whole thing we're talking about. We're supposed to be having a common agenda. So this meeting is a BS if we don't have a common agenda. Why are we seated here? Why are we talking about this, Macron? That should be Ruto right now. But no, Ruto is like,
Exactly.
you know, we've used, let me just continue. Let him talk for himself.
Exactly what you mentioned. And my main example is about COVID time. Day one. Probably remembers Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa will remember, and Ngozi does remember. First month.
President Ramaphosa, that is Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa.
I was invited by
Even pronounce your names, you idiots. Like, please.
Joey, he's
African
French.
Union.
we're not good with speaking French. He laugh at us talking French.
We don't want to speak French either. Like,
Not true.
to build
True.
the Common Action Act in the G20. And this is precisely because in Africa, they needed vaccine, but didn't produce vaccine on their soil. They were lagging behind. Your point is right, but I want to treat it and not just just denouncing it. And this is why we decided to make this platform in Africa. Does make sense.
we don't need your platforms. Africa never
Sure
had
don't.
platforms.
Sure
Africa
don't.
never had platforms before you came and invaded Africa and distracted us. We were
Exactly.
cool. You know, we had cultures, we had traditions, we were
How about that?
into
You were
style.
rich. You were rich. You wasn't dying. You didn't have AIDS. How about that?
These idiots dragged us behind, even in critical thinking. Please.
Yes. They turned off the lights. Exactly. That's why he's not being honest. Exactly. Joe, they came in. They stopped the critical thing. They stopped the progress and just the stealing and robbing and killing. Yeah.
Platforms. Okay, fine. Africa needs platforms. Let's look at the platforms we've had so far in Africa. How have they helped Africa in any sort of way develop? Can someone
Of
help
course not.
me understand?
The AU is a platform
I'm
created
still
by
seeing-
them for them.
I'm still seeing the Al Qaeda, the Al Shabaab, the pirates advancing more in Africa. So what is happening? Like, please, someone explain.
So it's feasible to change the thing, but not by just lecturing people on the other side because you come from the south, because I know very good guys from the north doing exactly the same speech with the opposite arguments, but working together and building bridges and based on facts.
Building Bridges initiative, which has never worked. Okay,
No, because that's the word. They don't never pretend to be business. They intend for you to say that shit and then rob and steal from you. And if you don't go along, they want to kill you. Exactly. Build no bridges.
As a matter of fact, the bridges are incomplete. So what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, please, Macron, we don't need no more building bridges.
Africa's been independent for supposedly 65, 70 years now. Where's the bridge building at? Why does Europe, who was completely decimated after World War II, is rebuilt and Africa hasn't been built up yet? So what are you talking about? And all that stuff that's built in Europe came from Africa. So explain this to me. Get out of here with that nonsense.
And science working together in order to improve the problem we have. This is just what I wanted to add.
This Pact for Prosperity,
Listen to your friend Keith.
People and Planet is not premised on North versus South.
This is a moron.
It is not premised on prejudices that exist and driven by narratives that we all know.
And the fact is that they
was
know
never
that all these presidents they put in a moron. Trudeau is a moron. He would, like I said, you wouldn't let him be manager of a KFC. What? I wouldn't let him manage the damn chicken hut. Let alone be a president. That's why he's there, because he's an idiot.
He's managing a whole country, so please
Yeah,
don't disrespect His Excellency, please. Don't. You know.
upon which we established this platform. And this platform has been driven in all its aspects in trying to find solutions. And let me say this. Today, we have common ground by both the people living in the global north and global south on reform of the financial institution. It is no longer a matter of those of us from developing countries. I see many, in fact, everybody who spoke today in this forum
about the IMF and World Bank
the
institution,
need to reform the international financial architecture. It is no longer, when we raised it initially, we looked like madmen, but today, everybody agrees.
You still look like madmen. Who told you look any better?
He trying to say when they were creating the IMF and World Bank that Africa was all messed up. See, he still messed up in the head. He said Africans look like madmen. We were all stupid and the mile was going on back then and you couldn't trust us because we were all ignorant and tribal. That's what he's trying to say. He's trying to agree to the white man's narrative that you were a savage.
Well, I'm still saying he still looks like a madman because he really fell with the narrative. You know, he agreed that we are savages. He agreed.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you. He is. That's why he's a puppet. That's why he's.
We look like madmen. You still look like a madman. You still do.
There is something that needs to be done about the international global architecture. And Ajay Banka here already has enumerated to us what steps are being taken to address the concerns that have been put forward by this forum that is jointly between people from different shades of opinion. Secondly, let me say this.
This is all surface talk because they know who all owns these banks.
Yep.
They know unless you're talking about taking down the banks for real and creating your own currency. This is all fake talk.
Hold on, I'm about to go deeper on that.
Good.
You know, connecting yesterday's article of the IMF and everything. We're about to go deep. Let him run his mouth.
The international arena cannot solve this problem alone. We have to be realistic. There are things that must be done in domestic jurisdictions. There are things we must do in our countries. And I will explain. For example, a matter that was ably canvassed by President Lorenzo about health. It is true. There is a relationship between poverty and conflict. There is a relationship between health.
Caused by who? Poverty and conflict. Caused by who? Same people you're working for, and of course you participate.
Exactly.
Poverty and conflict. That is what runs your politics. Poverty and conflict.
And development.
Development, which is empty hopes of promises.
And as a result, it's become increasingly clear to us that even in the context where global resources, global fund resources, Gavi resources are going down, we must step up domestically mobilized resources to fill the gap. This is what we have done in Kenya, for example, so that we're not just discussing about reform of the international global financial architecture. We are also discussing reform of our own domestic raising interventions so that we have resources that is available at the domestic level. Just allow me just to say this because it's important to contextualize where we are. Even when global resources were dwindling,
So hold on, I'm just gonna pause on that. And like I said, I'm key on words, right? So let's look at domestic resources. Sometimes let's not act like
Oh, there goes your mosquito right there, Joe.
yeah, let's not act like we know better than maybe Google. I had to ask Google, of course, what are domestic resources? And in the context of development in finance, this refers to the financial resources that a country generates internally to fund
Sure.
its own development, rather than relying solely on external resources like foreign aid and loans.
Alone.
Kenya, just recently, we borrowed 300 billion or million from China. So how are we using our domestic resources to internally fund ourselves?
You're
And not
not. That's what he
now,
said is a nonsense. What he said is
like,
nonsense. See, that's why you're dangerous, Joe.
this is crazy. That's what I'm talking about. When you're talking about deep auditing, they won't put deep auditors and real auditors because these are the type
No.
of accountabilities we need. These are the answers we are talking about. Because,
Of course.
listen, we're talking about the key aspects of domestic resources, okay? We have taxation. A well-functioning and efficient tax system is vital to generate revenue. Our taxes are being stolen. We've been overtaxed.
That's
Like,
what I said. That's what I said. Your revenue. That's why you're supposed to. Exactly. You're supposed to have free schools, Joey. Why you pay taxes? Not supposed to have school fees in a
mhm,
country you pay taxes in.
mhm. They're talking about public spending. Efficient and effective public spending is crucial. Governments need to prioritize investments in areas that promote long-term growth. No, this is not about them. They want private jets, they want bulletproof cars,
Yeah.
for their
There you
wives
go.
people. That is not how public spending needs to be managed according to Google is
Of
a
course
liar.
not.
Ruto and the rest of the puppets are right, okay? So, that's not how they use our money. And then they also go deeper and talk about financial sector development. These are strong and well regulated financial sector that can help mobilize domestic savings and channel them towards productive investments. Where financial sector development, where we have Chinese coming to build us our, which is so backward, it's not making
Right.
sense.
What you just did, Joe. You just showed that what you said is how it's supposed to work, but they're not even doing it. The Kenyan government is not doing it because it's corrupt. So that's why you had Ibram Traore just announced last week that there will be no more taxes at all in
Mhm. And
Burkina Faso because
not
our resources pays for everything. Now that we got our resources back, that's going to pay for our development, not our
see,
people. So
not,
school and everything will be, and Kenya can do that, but Kenya doesn't control its resources.
mhm, not just Kenya, because this is the whole of the
All of
fabric.
Africa. I know. I'm saying all of Africa. I was just naming Kenya because that's what we were talking about.
So that's talking about good governance, which of course should be one of the key domestic resources, how they should be used. Good governance includes transparency. These people are not transparent anywhere. Accountability.
Exactly.
They don't like
They're not
accountability.
count. Not, they're not accountability. That's why you're in the streets and they're abducting people because you want accountability. Exactly.
Exactly. And the rule of law. They don't follow nothing
In
about
front of
rule.
a law. Exactly. So exactly.
So that is all a lie. They also include importance of the domestic resources mobilization is to reduce dependence on aid. They are more dependent on aid.
Hey, exactly. You're supposed to reduce the aid. Exactly, Joe.
They also increase policy space. They're saying that greater domestic resource mobilization allows countries to have more control of their development priorities and policies. Once you start borrowing loans, like we understood yesterday, these loans come with conditions. Conditions like, you start selling your own, country.
All your resources back to the people who's supposed to give you these fake loans. So you
And
sell
then
all your assets to them.
now we're getting into that. Now listen to Ruto, what he said about that.
We stepped in with domestic raising resources. We changed the infrastructure for raising health insurance from where we had 0 point something percent and the poor were paying 10%. We agreed on a standard 2.75% for everybody to pay. What has happened? We have raised $1 billion, money that we didn't have, and we have raised it domestic using domestic resources. So some of the interventions can be sorted out by looking at domestic raising interventions that are local in its nature. Let me also say this. We've also leveraged on the private sector to provide help in Kenya.
And hold on, if there is been 1 billion, if I've heard correctly, if there's 1 billion literally
Where to
raised
go?
from domestic resources, where is this money?
Exactly. Where to go at?
You know, exactly. If we're using, because your defense mechanism is that we're using our domestic resources to fund ourselves and our own development. But no, where's the money? You're still more dependent on the foreign aid. I don't need to go and explain everything, but let him talk again.
We worked with manufacturers that were buying from, we were buying from them equipment for our hospitals. We decided to change it on the other side. We decided to create an investment out of equipment.
Listen.
Now manufacturers are investing. We have now at least...
Listen to the terms they use. Before he gets to the actual term of actually what he means, he's now using manufacturers, okay? Listen.
Program, a fee-for-service program where manufacturers, where we were buying a CT scan or an MRI for our hospitals, today they bring the MRI to the hospital, they bring the CT scan to the hospital, and we pay for service.
So in general?
For every service we get, we pay for it. We don't have to pay for the equipment anymore.
So in general?
So we have changed. Instead of us investing in buying equipment, manufacturers have seen an investment opportunity for them to put equipment in our hospitals.
How about you manufacture it yourself?
So, listen, let's talk what the manufacturer.
The private sector and the private and the public sector are collaborating.
The private sector and the public sector. Well, the private sector is the manufacturers, okay? That's what he's trying to say. Like, and we saw this happening the first year when he got into presidency, selling our assets, literally, our state-owned assets.
That's what they do. Exactly, Joby. That's exactly what you do. Privatize, because that's the IMF and World Bank's plan, like, as you read, to take over the country and control the country and own the country. And the people don't own shit and stay impoverished, Joe.
Exactly.
That's why his ass is there.
This is not benefiting the people, Ruto. This is benefiting your ass. Let's talk about it.
To deliver on public interventions.
There's no public does not receive, we don't receive anything.
As a result, we have mobilized close to another $1.5 billion from the private sector to fund our health delivery mechanism.
Which is a lie. SHA is not working. SHA, the new card, the new system of healthcare is not working. I'd like to share videos of people complaining. I'd love to, but we don't have no time. But it's not working. So, public sector, private, it's not working.
He knows it's not working.
It's not working. And we're going to understand why it's not working. Because we have the people behind it, okay? You understood yesterday what the IMF, the World Bank, the people behind it. But the people behind it are barely talked about. Who are the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers? That is my topic of the day. We have the Rothschilds, and they're talking about how the Rothschilds didn't just support. Of course, we did speak about Israel yesterday, how Israel was built, the time it was built, why they built it. Of course, also we discussed on a certain article why they chose that particular region because of oil and so many cost resources. If you can remember the article, I can share on that. So they're talking about the Rothschilds didn't just support Israel. They bought stolen Palestinian land. We're talking about the original Palestinians, not who we have today there. Okay? And this is in the 1800s, if I'm getting the time correct, according to this article. They're also saying, they financed the Zionist settlements. They supported the Balfour
Declaration.
That is in 1917. They also supported wars and genocide. Of course, they've been doing this for all these years. We just don't know who they are. You know, we blame countries who are behind this, who are getting the funds, of course, through them behind it, but we don't know who are behind it. You don't want to talk about them. That's why I don't have people on my channel today. Listen, like, Look, you don't want to talk about them. The Rothschild is not just the father of Israel, but the father of most wars. And of course, that's my
Yep.
choice of topic. They're talking about the IPAC, the AI pack, which took over the Congress, and this is by the
Uh,
1950s,
APAC. Yep.
1960s. The Zionist lobbies were embedded deep in Washington, and the AIA pack
Yep.
will
Yep.
soon shape U.S. foreign policy, which of course they have been doing that. They did. They silence critics of Israel and of the rest of the global too, because they control all of the nations. So if you
Yep.
criticize, you're criticizing their puppets, you're criticizing the control of the resources and the control of that country. So don't dare. You be quiet. They're also talking about funnel billions to Tel Aviv. This is, of course, their mainstream media, if I'm not wrong. The media, the media they control. The Congress answers to Israel, not Americans.
Exactly.
So if recently
Exactly.
when we are asking why the Congress would not question what Trump is doing, this is the answer. We saw only
Exactly.
one Congress, I can't remember from where, but was the only person trying to talk about how this is wrong, Trump deploying the Marine outside and everything. But now, if you've been questioning why, you know, Trump is so wrong, the Congress needs to talk about this and all that, Congress only answers to Israel, not Americans.
Exactly.
JFK tried to resist. JFK demanded Israel to open its nuclear facility to inspectors. Now, that caught my attention. That caught my attention because Israel didn't allow JFK or didn't actually obey to
No,
JFK's demand, but they want other countries to,
to do it.
yeah,
Exactly.
you want other countries to open their nuclear facilities for inspection. And
Of course.
if they don't, you go
Mama.
guessing, doing
Yeah.
guesswork of where these nuclear, weapons could be, and you go bombing. I mean, Trump's voice right now is crazy, but they're also saying he also
Trump's voice. I didn't guess, Joe Biden Nelson. I knew it, and I did it correctly, and I destroyed all of Iran's nuclear capabilities.
it's
How
insane.
dare you say I guessed?
He also tried, that is JFK, he also tried to reign in the CIA. Of course, I think we've discussed that a couple of times.
Yeah.
I've understood that. He was also assassinated in 1963. We've seen that video a couple of times as well. His successor, that is LBJ, gave Israel
Was a
everything.
Zionist. He was their
Yeah.
puppet.
And of course, does this apply to you as a coincidence still? That is what they're asking. The CIA plus the Mossad is equal to the Shadow Ops Alliance. The CIA
Exactly.
and Mossad trained together, operate
Yep.
together.
Operate
They
together. Right.
they cover each other, and they're also the tools of control. And this is when it comes to coups, like in Iran in 1953. They also are
Mhm.
the tool controls of false flags, assassinations. We have surveillance and also media psychosis.
All the media.
The
Psyops.
media, the media side. Sorry. They're also talking about how after World War II they pushed to secure a Jewish state, which is of course Israel,
Yep.
control the Western media, influence over U.S. foreign policy, and which is a permanent intelligence alliance, also a permanent intelligence alliance. They got all of it in just 3 years. I mean, make it make sense. In just three
Well,
years.
they can put complete control because of that fake money that they create from nothing.
Mhm. The key founders of CIA, they're mentioning a couple. We have the Allen Dulles, who are the deep ties
Dallas, Dallas
to
brothers.
Wall,
Yep.
mhm, who are the ties to Wall
The
Street
cats.
and capitalist
Yeah.
lobbies. We have the this one, I don't know why it's not
Hey, boy, you dug up everything. How you get all this information? You got this on Google?
my own research kit. Yeah.
Wow, shit. Yeah, damn. Go ahead.
Our research. They're also talking about I think James Arlington. Can't see this here. I think, yeah, it's James Arlington, who is the an open Zionist supporter, and he was later the Alliance Mossad. And we also have Will B. Donovan, who worked closely with British Zionists. They laid the foundation for Zionist aligned intelligence machine. And they're also saying they don't just spy, they shape the world. They overthrow
Yeah,
leaders. Of course, we've seen
go the
that.
world.
They fabricate threats. We've seen that. Justify wars. We've seen that. They control narratives. They silent detents. They literally are the control of the world. And that is
Yes.
literally who are the Rothschilds. And it goes deeper because we're talking about, it goes deeper. I feel like this is even the shallow of what just it is. We know they go deeper in what they control. If you talk
Of
about
course.
passing yesterday, children disappearing, it goes deeper to all the way. You know,
Of
black women
course.
disappearing, all this disappearance of children globally. In 24 hours, you're talking about 34 children going missing. How is this not on the media?
If
Till
they
now.
own,
The
if
crazy
they
part,
own the media.
that's the crazy part, you know, because it's going viral on TikTok. Till now, the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about this. Make that make sense. Till now, look at CBC, look at CNN, all of them, Al Jazeera, none of them are talking about this
Of
situation.
course not.
This is crazy, man. But as we get closer to winding up, literally, with today's conversation, still on
Okay,
YouTube.
play them last two videos I sent you. They're like 30 seconds long.
Just a minute.
You know
Yeah.
why? And this is the Rothschilds doing right here too. This is what you see in Africa. This is what you see. Both these guys on purpose. Keep control. Dang, Joe, you went deep. You know, how you gonna be able to talk to people knowing this much shit? you gonna talk to knowing all that, Joe?
No one.
I'm
It's
surprised. I'm surprised that you got. I know all that, but I'm surprised. Like, where did you get all that from? You really
it's a
can't find that much on Google that much. How you find all that shit?
it's a problem, Keith. You know, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's just a problem. You know, having too much.
But Joby just said you never heard that on no news station ever in Kenya. How can Joby find that out and can't no news station in Kenya find the same thing out? They know. Not allowed to say it.
Yeah, so let
Keep
me
their
share
mouth
this.
shut.
Republic, United Republic of Rwanda, of Tanzania.
Like Joby said, you make us all look bad. There you go.
Your Excellency Felix Tshisekedi,
It's the whole president.
representing President of Uganda, of Congo.
Okay,
Let them continue, Joby. The next one's funny too. I had more than this, but I had the one with Jennifer talking. It's on
Distinguished
purpose.
guests, the steps I have just mentioned above were affected by the challenges of peace implementation
He don't even know
in
where the hell
my
he at.
country. I sincerely appreciate the East African community heads of state
This East African
for
community created by
waiving
the white people, all these puppets,
barriers
70, Ruto, all these
accrued
morons.
to South Sudan during the 22nd Ordinary Summit. From
this is a shame. I can't continue.
All right, we'll play the next one, Joby.
Exactly. You need to understand. This is not about you as an African. This is about them because we have grandpas ruling us, you know, and they're egocentric about it, like so egocentric. I remind you, the MP, the Prime Minister from Uganda.
I know. He's the last one. Play the last one. He's the one on there. He's the one on there. Play the last one, Joe. He's the one right there. He's the
about this position. So like, what the?
He's the last one, Joey. Play that one. He's on. That's the one I sent you.
On a lighter note, and you just went through as a member of parliament to represent your constituency again.
This nigga can't breathe. Like,
you think you will retire from politics and go to Adjumani and take care of your grandchildren and your entire family?
Well, my people will decide for me. They will have to decide. It's not up to me, really. It's up to the people. If they still need me to continue serving them, I will do so.
No, you are not chosen by the people, you Negro.
No.
Look at you. You can talk. You
This
can
is why
talk.
Africa doesn't work on purpose, guys. I got so many. I got videos like that of Kennedy talking crazy, Paul Beer, Edgar took. This is all on purpose. Why Africa doesn't work. These are your fake democracies. Go ahead, Joe.
My fighting spirit wants to squeeze the shit out of this man. Like, no, how? Like this is so shameful. You have someone now. You tell me, okay? Now you have someone like Macron. You've seen him. This man is eating broccolis and lettuce every morning, probably, and strawberries. As you eat
of course.
Potatoes there, getting your balloon stomach. This man is minding his health, all right? Very careful with Macron. That's why he has the audacity. As you try settle with your suit on your balloon stomach, he can sit comfortably and talk to you and question you about how we don't have a common agenda, okay? We've told this is not, and it will never be, never. Very straightforward on your face. They are not mimicking or trying to, we're sorry. They're not Museveni right here. Or because we didn't pass the LGBTQ, now we're sorry. We're getting sanctions, now we're not sorry. Excuse me, straightforward on your face. This is such a shame. Africans, this is not about you, okay? You're the majority, again. If you need to understand the key weapon which they have been hiding, like they have been using on us, divide and conquer has been their weapon. Those are going to be my last one for them. Divide and conquer have been their weapon, plain and literally working when it comes to us. Now use the weapon. Turn it against them. Show them you can unite. Leave tribalism aside, okay? Work with those who you can, because not everyone is also ready to work with you. Let me just tell you the fact. We have so many Africans who are moving like ships. That is the truth. And we're not being told the truth. No one is actually, shout out to Ibrahim Traore. I like the way sometimes he's so brutal with the honest. You need to hear it.
Now you gotta be. That's how you gotta be, Joe. You gotta tell your people finally the truth. How things really are.
Mind games with you, and I've been playing mind games and politics with you, playing with your emotions again. This is not about emotions right now. It's not about emotions. It's about power, and you have to take. And power is about literally you have to unite as Africans. With those you can again. I'm gonna be very keyword with that. You have Africans amongst you. I'm gonna act like they're uniting, and they can sell you out very quick for their money. We see it. We've seen it. It's not time for the games. It's not time for the games. You have to unite. Use the key weapon, which is unity, and let's turn it against them. We are not the problem. It's the people who we have literally representing us.
Exactly.
And as a matter of fact, we shouldn't be having this. We shouldn't be answering to any white man. We need to get and come to the bottom of this. We need to go back to the free leadership. We need to be answering to the only leaders in the African continent, if we have one. If possible, right now we should just be answering to Burkina, to Ibrahim. Every African country should be like, if any African leader calls for, if we have any state celebration or this nonsense they keep having every single time, we should be yapping and actually be loud about Ibrahim. We should be calling Ibrahim Traore as the president of Africa. Like, be loud. Arambe Ibrahim. Arambe Ibrahim. That's what you should be doing. Let them get the message.
That's what everybody's saying.
Because for how long, again, like I started with, for how long are you gonna be scared?
I don't know, Joby. You got an awakening, because you can't tell, Joby. How could you know this much now? Now imagine all the Africans are starting to learn what you learned. It's just gonna happen.
I hope it happens, because I'm sad to say, we also have really, I really, right now I can't stand.
Of course.
I can't stand. You're slow. Get out of my face, man. I can't think something just like thrice. Like I'm looking at you like a damn ass person right now. Being honest. Sorry if it comes out brutal, but just this is the truth. I can't tell you something like thrice. It's making me mad. Like, why am I repeating something to you thrice? Won't you hear it the first time? Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, hold on, Joby. You sound worse than me now. your sophistication level is so much higher than what most Africans are exposed to. Okay, so just be brutal, but be understanding with your brutality because they're not.
I don't have, I told you already yesterday. I don't have no room for understanding anymore. I am tired. I am tired. I am tired with understanding. I have zero room for
Tolerance.
understanding. We don't have
All
time
right,
to understand anymore. Just being honest. We are living at a crucial time. We
that's true
are.
too.
Be
That's
honest.
true. That's true.
Economically, politically, spiritually. We don't have time.
True.
If you just don't get it, you don't get it. I don't have time for you. You move on with your own pace. I'm gonna move with mine. Okay, that's just it. I don't have time, no room for explanation. You either get it or you don't. Simple. Simple. And that's what has been lacking us behind, literally, as Africans, trying to be having a room for understanding with white people. White
That's
people.
true too. That's true.
Oh, maybe
You
they're
went-
gonna change. Maybe, oh, we just need to be more accommodating. Maybe they don't have homes. Next time you don't have a home. You start acting like South Africans. Oh, you need to go back to your countries. You can't come to like this is on yourself. Like, please, this is crazy. We're coming to the end of today's conversation, family. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Shout out to Joe Mosquito. Been with us on the chat. Shout out to YouTube as well for shadow banning this. But of course, we are on
Well, you should put on the regular channel because you haven't. You know how to do copyright. That was only from Canvas. You know.
It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
This was
Yeah.
informative.
Yeah,
to my
because this one, this one right here, they need to hear. This one you went deeper really than I've ever seen you go. Shit, like God damn, you're naming the Dallas Brothers and everything. What is crazy?
Much love. Drama Crew says when the equipment gets broken or damaged in the hospitals, they send white people from Europe to repair it. Literally.
Yeah, crazy. It's crazy.
I also say says hey, it's the smaller channel. What happened to the bigger channel? We're still on. We were there yesterday. It's just me since we got a strike. I've been putting the shows right here. So
We got copyright strikes, German Skid. We get one more that'll take the whole channel down. So we're trying to move it over here for right now until the end of August when the 2 copyright strikes come down. You know?
I also says this president is a mumble mouth. I know he's worse than Biden. You bet. Oh no, please don't tell me nothing about American presidents right now, Joe Mosquito. you are even worse. Like, please, you're talking about you.
Well, we know they're all puppets of these families that stay in the dark. I told you, everybody behind the scenes, they don't show their face who actually run the place, right? They don't show their face who actually run the place. They put their puppets out there. And like Joe, we just read, America's been a puppet of Israel, the Rothschilds who created Israel, for years. I'll tell you, every president, make a difference, Kamala, or Trump. They're both puppets. The same thing was going to happen. I told you guys this. I said, it don't matter who you put in. Because the same posse is going to, they represent the same people. That's how, like Joe said, that's called divide and conquer. You're a Democrat. You're a Republican. Everybody go, you fight. It's a fake, like Joe said, fake opposition. You fight each other, divide and conquer. But at the end of the day, the policies don't ever change. It's going to still be the same wicked policies that they want to implement. So until you understand it, and Joby understands, which is more than most Americans, still today, that you live in a fake democracy. It's fake. All your presidents are puppets controlled by a group of people.
It doesn't work. If today anything happened and we had Trump or Kamala Harris or anyone coming here and talking to us about democracy, and I happen to be there in public, I'm going to be arrested because I'll be like, America, you don't practice no democracy. Like, please, you're supporting Israel in genocide. You've been bombing people in Africa.
Of course.
You've been funding weapons and wars. So please, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
You don't practice no democracy. So please stop acting innocent. Don't play innocent with us. We've had it. But anyway, coming to the
Let's love family.
Hope you guys have enjoyed once again. That has been my time with you. And of course, see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. But we have more shows coming. We have Iwaton and Shumani on the network, and of course on TikTok, as they get on the BHFN countdown. We also have the reaction time, myself, Shumani, and Kamlesh. And then we have Kamlesh later with sports news on Rumble and Beach. So in case you don't have our app, ensure you
Yeah,
download.
one of Canberra sports stars died. One of them soccer guys got killed in Spain.
Yeah, I've seen
I
him.
don't
I've
know.
seen him talk about it.
I
I'm
don't know.
like, oh.
I don't know who the hell that is, but
But anyway, catch up with him and see who he is, because I'll also be learning at that particular time. And then later tonight, you got me on the culture show. Today we don't do no Africa Today show. Sorry, kid.
okay.
Much love.
I knew your ass wasn't gonna want to do no damn African Day show because you listen to your Jamaican Dandana for a while. I knew it.
I paid my dues this week. I have no
I
debts.
know. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Much love, family.